Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine you get this invitation, right, to this amazing isolated island. Sounds like a dream escape. But instead of relaxing, you find yourself caught, I mean, really caught, in this chilling trap. You're surrounded by strangers, and suddenly everyone's being accused of these awful hidden things from their past. And then, one by one, people start disappearing. So today, yeah, we're doing a deep dive into maybe one of the most cleverly plotted mysteries ever, Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None, also known by that really stark title, 10 on the Island, A Tale of Justice and Revenge.
It's just fascinating, isn't it, how Christie builds this scenario where the normal legal system, well, it's seen to have failed, completely failed. And it's a meticulous, almost terrifying alternative kind of takes over. It really makes you think, about guilt, accountability, what justice even is.
Right. And our mission today, it's not just to, retell the story step by step, because honestly, you probably know the big twist. Instead, we want to pull back the curtain a bit on Christie's sheer genius. Look at the psychology, how these characters react under this insane pressure, and figure out what makes the story stick with you for so long. We're using excerpts that map out the whole plot, yeah, but we're really focusing on the why and the how.
Okay.
Okay, so for anyone needing a quick reminder, it kicks off when 10 very different people, each carrying some heavy baggage, get these weird invitations. Invitation to Soldier Island, this famously remote spot off the Devon coast in England. They get there, no host in sight, just some staff and this, heavy atmosphere.
Exactly. Christie nails that isolation right from the start.
Yeah.
Physical isolation, yeah, but psychological too. The fancy house feels kind of cold, almost like a stage set, ready for the drama. And that detail, the framed copy of the 10 little soldiers rhyme in every single room. It seems innocent at first, maybe a bit quirky, but wow, what foreshadowing. It sets this deeply ominous tone way before the first terrible thing happens. It hints at this cold calculation behind it all.
And that horror, it doesn't wait long. That very first evening, right during dinner, the whole polite gathering just completely falls apart. You've got this mess of people, a judge, a doctor, a general, a governess, an ex-cop. Quite the group. But what really links them is the shocking message that suddenly plays out from a hidden gramophone.
That gramophone recording, it's such a bold move by Christie, so audacious. It just rips away any pretense immediately and throws the main conflict right in your face. It's not just someone throwing out accusations. It feels like this incredibly detailed, almost legal indictment, but totally outside any courtroom. Every guest is named, accused of causing a death that, crucially, the official law never punished them for. So right away, it messes with our ideas of guilt and innocence. It shifts the whole moral ground away from the law books. How do you think that hits the group dynamic right then?
Well, it's instant chaos, isn't it? Pure terror, people denying it, shock, absolute panic setting in. And then that awful dawning realization hits them. They are completely trapped. The boat's not coming back. The island's cut off. They're stuck. Not just with each other, but with their own secrets laid bare, and this unknown accuser somewhere among them.
And that's precisely where Christie starts tightening the screws psychologically. That very first night, bang, one guest is dead, looks like cyanide. The next morning, another one gone. Christie uses these first deaths to establish the grim pattern, to show the killer's method. It's this horrifying reflection of the 10 little soldiers' rhyme. This isn't random violence. It's like a performance, a staged execution, turning this little kid's verse into a death clock.
Oh, it's absolutely chilling. And with every death, one of those little soldier figurines on the dining table vanishes. Gone. The group connects the dots pretty fast. They realize their lives are literally being controlled by this nursery rhyme. And that, for me, that's where it goes beyond just a clever whodunit. It becomes this intense psychological thriller. What specific things does she do to just shred the trust between the survivors as the numbers keep dropping?
Well, she's the absolute master of the closed circle mystery, and here she pushes it to the extreme. By making it crystal clear the killer has to be one of them, she just systematically destroys any possibility of trust. We see some characters, like the old general, kind of lose their grip on reality. Others, like the very logical judge, try to impose some order, but even his reasoning starts to crack under the sheer weight of suspicion. Christie gives us these little windows into their pasts, their fears, how they justify things to themselves. It makes every single one of them seem like a possible killer. She's not just hiding the murderer, she's forcing the characters and us, the readers, to really question trust itself and what you do just to survive.
Yeah, it's fascinating how she dissects them under that pressure. The paranoia basically becomes another character in the story. People start sticking together, moving in pairs. But even that, it doesn't really help, doesn't guarantee safety. They try locking doors, standing guard, all the logical things. But the deaths just keep coming, following that rhyme with this awful
Yeah.
precision until finally you're down to just a desperate few. And then the last two are found dead, one shot, the other hanged.
And the genius there is the ultimate puzzle, the paradox. When the police finally get to the island, the house is just silent, 10 bodies. But the way they're found, the staging, the lack of any obvious killer left standing, and the fact that all 10 are dead, it leaves the investigators completely stumped. The whole scene just seems to defy logic, a truly impossible crime.
Yeah, and for weeks, the whole thing is just huge news, this baffling mystery. People are guessing wildly. Was there someone hiding on the island? Did they all commit suicide together? Did one of them fake their death somehow and escape? The mystery just seems totally unsolvable.
But then, the answer literally washes up on shore. A message in a bottle containing this handwritten confession, a really chilling document laying out who the killer was, why they did it, and their incredibly detailed plan. And it was, in fact, one of the guests, someone who genuinely believed the legal system had failed, utterly failed, and decided they had to step outside it all to sort of balance the scales themselves in their own twisted way.
And the final move in this so-called perfect crime is maybe the most astounding part. The killer didn't just arrange for 10 people to die, carefully matching each death to a line in the rhyme. They also planned their own death meticulously in a way that kept the illusion going, made it look like someone else could have been the last one standing. Just a completely self-contained crime, no loose ends left at all.
And that's the deeply unsettling brilliance of Christie's ending, isn't it? That letter solves the who and the how, but the feeling of unease, it just stays with you. The whole idea that someone could plan such cold, calculated revenge, carry it out without a shred of remorse, and then end their own life just to make sure their warped vision of justice was perfectly sealed. It really challenges our basic ideas about right, wrong, and consequence. Soldier Island just sits there, this stark, empty symbol of where that kind of personal judgment can lead when it completely throws out the rule of law.
So what does this all really mean then? We've seen how Agatha Christie cooked up this crime that seemed impossible to solve. This perfect closed circle. 10 people, all accused of getting away with causing death, meet their end, all arranged by one incredibly determined person. She uses that isolation of Soldier Island and that creepy 10 little soldiers rhyme not just as, plot points, but as tools. Tools to dissect human nature under pressure and really explore what we even mean by justice.
And if you step back and look at the bigger picture, I think this story poses a really profound question. What happens when someone decides, nope, the legal system isn't good enough, and takes justice into their own hands? It really forces you to look at that very thin line between guilt and punishment and the, frankly, terrifying danger when one person appoints themselves judge, jury, and executioner.
Yeah, this story really makes you think, when the official law seems to fall short, does pulling off a perfect crime actually bring any real sense of justice? Or does it just leave us all feeling more disturbed, more uneasy about the dark corners of the human mind? Something to maybe chew on as you go about your day. What kind of justice actually brings peace? And what might